Welcome to Bite Size Rando. My name is Didier Kirby. Today, we're going to be trying to answer a really simple question, and that is, if you've just done a save and quit, and you're planning on fluting away, where do you want to start in order to get picked up by the duck the fastest? We can, of course, start at Link's house, and then just walk out, and then use the flute, but we could also choose to start at Sanctuary. That's probably definitely going to be slower because you have to go all the way out through this hallway to get to the door, but we could also start at the Mountain Cave, which seems pretty appealing because the exit of the Mountain Cave is right here. So let's go look at the timing comparisons and see which one is actually going to be the fastest. We've got 4 different videos for you today. On the top left, we're going to be saving quitting to Link's house, and on the top right, we're going to be saving quitting to the Mountain Cave. Let's just focus on these 2 for now. And you can see that saving and quitting to Link's house is actually going to get you picked up by about half a second faster. And this might seem a little bit counterintuitive because, as we said before, if you look at the Mountain Cave, you are going to start very close to the doorway. But you'll notice something interesting, and that is that Link's house actually loads faster than the mountain. In addition, if you want to start the mountain, you're going to have to wait a few extra frames in order to select the Mountain Cave in the menu. So that's a few frames there. But the main difference here that causes it to be half a second faster at Link's house is that Link's house just loads faster. I'm not sure exactly for what reason it is, but for whatever reason, this loads faster, and this is true not only in the practice hack, but also in any randomizer seed that you'll play. Now, it is important to note that these timings are done without the boots. With the boots, of course, it is going to help Link's house a little bit because you can dash out and save about 20 frames there, but in the mountain, you definitely don't want to dash out, so you're still going to walk out, so that's going to be the same. So the difference is going to be a little bit more with the boots. Another thing that I wanted to point out is, while I'm using the flute here in both of these cases, I am using a technique to walk to the left, and that is actually going to lead to a faster pickup from the duck. If you walk left, because you'll be meeting the duck and scrolling the camera in the opposite direction, and so that can save you about 10 frames. You can also elect to dash left and get picked up by the duck, but in general, I wouldn't really recommend that unless you're really practiced, because it can be inconsistent, and if you get missed by the duck, then that's going to be really bad. So only do that if you really know what you're doing and you understand how the camera offset affects that and everything. Now on the bottom 2, I have a separate set of comparisons, and this is if you want to do a health refill. So at Link's house, this isn't an option, but at either Sanctuary or the Mountain Cave, you can talk to one of these 3 NPCs, and they will all refill your health up to maximum. So if you want to get health refill, it's going to look like, and this should be relatively obvious, but it's going to look like saving and quitting to the mountain, if you have the option, is going to be faster than saving and quitting to Sanctuary by quite a few seconds, so about 2.5 seconds of difference. And that is even with the boots on hand to be able to dash out of Sanctuary. So if you don't have the boots, then definitely Sanctuary is going to be even slower. One really small thing to note there with the health refills, you don't really need to walk left or right very much at all in order to get these health refills. So you can see that I only walked left a little bit off center, and I'll be able to still talk to this NPC on the left in order to refill my health. And similarly on the right side, when you start at the Mountain Cave, you actually just need to clear this table here, and you can actually press A pretty early, even when you're pretty far away diagonally from the old man, and he will still get you that health refill. So you don't need to go right up to him, you can actually do it from a little bit of a ways away. The hitbox there is relatively lenient for that health refill, and especially if you don't have the boots on hand, then you can just be spamming A the whole time. Before I close out this video, I do have one kind of bonus scenario that I want to go over, and that is if you are saving and quitting from the Dark World and you have already beaten Aga 1 and you have the Moon Pearl and Mirror on hand, then you'll start in the Dark World. And so if you want to flute away from here, you'll have to use the mirror. But if you use the mirror from your starting point, you are going to find that you're going to mirror bonk on that little doorway, and so that is not actually going to work. So you want to mirror and flute away from here, you're going to have to take a few steps downward, and then you'll be able to mirror successfully without bonking, and then use the flute from there, okay? Now, you might be wondering if there is any sort of quick warp setup. Every 2 out of 8 pixels of camera X coordinate will result in a quick warp, which will save you about half a second on the mirror transition. But from what I found, there's no consistent sort of lineup or obstacle that you can push flush against in order to get a quick warp. So if you want to go for a quick warp, you're basically just going to have to wing it, and while you're moving down, just try to move a few pixels to the right, and sometimes you'll get it, and sometimes you won't. but it's definitely not going to be something that you can rely on consistently. But you might as well go for it if you want to. That is going to do it for this video. Hopefully that helps you in your next run. And remember, save and quit the Lynx house if you're planning on fluting away.